Hi everyone, today I'll discuss about endodontic irrigants. This PPT was made by Dr. Dipendra, my friend, and he gave this to my YouTube video. So first of all, why we need irrigants? We need irrigants because biomechanical preparation with instrument is not enough to prepare and is not enough to clean and save the root canal completely because of its complex anatomy. It is near impossible to clean each and every part of root canal through instrumentation. So it is not possible to clean by instrumentation. That's why BMP in conjunction with irrigants is required for successful root canal treatment. Now, what are the ideal properties should have an endodontic irrigants? It should have antimicrobial activity, should be non-toxic, biocompatible, should be able to dissolve necrotic and vital pulp tissues, should serve as a lubricant, should be able to remove the smear layer, should have low surface tension. So these are the ideal properties should have an ideal endodontic irrigants. Now, obstacle in removing irrigants from the root canal. Complex root anatomy, presence of smear layer, calcified root canal. These are the obstacles in removing irrigants from the root canal. Now, classification of endodontic irrigants. Organic solvent, inorganic solvent, antimicrobial agent. Organic solvent, sodium hypochlorite, hydrogen peroxide. Inorganic solvent, EDTA, citric acid, and antimicrobial agents, MTAD. Now, sodium hypochlorite, it's a reducing agent, clear straw color. Most widely used endodontic irrigant is sodium hypochlorite. It is easily available. The percentage we use from the range of 0.5 to 5.25%. Actually, the most efficacious percentage is 5.25%, but it is very corrosive or caustic agent. That's why we use commonly 2.5%. Now, how it acts? NaOCl ionizes into hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite ion. This hypochlorous acid is responsible for antimicrobial activity. It completely dissolves the pulp in 20 minutes to 2 hours. Now, how it causes destruction of bacteria? First, it penetrates into bacterial cell wall, chemical combination with the protoplasm and bacterial cell, and disruption of DNA synthesis. So, penetration and disruption of DNA synthesis is the mechanism of action. Now, what are the advantages? Its ability to dissolve the vital and necrotic tissues. It is an organic solvent, so it dissolves the organic compound, that is pulp and necrotic tissues. Now, it has antimicrobial actions. It is inexpensive and readily available. What are the disadvantages? Cytotoxicity and caustic effect. That's why low concentration is used. Inability to remove inorganic component of smear layer because it's organic solvent. That's why it can't remove the dentin chips or inorganic compounds present in the smear layer. Its unpleasant taste and smell sometimes made patients uncomfortable. It has to be stored in cool place and away from sunlight. Now, how to increase the effectiveness of NaOCl? Increase the volume of solution, increase the duration, warming the solution, passive ultrasonic activation. It can be used in combination with calcium hydroxide, EDTA, and chlorhexidine. Now, sodium hypochlorite accident. In case of accidental exposure of sodium hypochlorite to oral tissue, or in case of sodium hypochlorite when goes in beyond the apex accidentally or in the periapical region, these type of serious conditions may happen. Redness, swelling, necrosis, ulceration, and mild to moderate to severe pain the patient can experience from this condition. Management of sodium hypochlorite accident, you have to assess the patient, what is the condition of the patient, if it is mild, if it is moderate, if it is severe. The management little varies. I will discuss uh, how how to manage mild, moderate and severe sodium hypochlorite accident case in other video, but in general term, first you have to control the pain with strong analgesics. In case of severe pain, you have to consider intravenous analgesics or opioid analgesics. You have to flood the canal with normal saline, allow bleeding from the canal to continue. In case of severe case, you have to inject steroid solution, antibiotic, and you have to cold compress the area. In case of mild, moderate and severe, in 3 cases, you have to compress the area with cold substances. And you have to also inform the patient about the seriousness of the condition. And most important is follow up. You have to follow up the patient also. Next, EDTA, ethylene-diamine tetraacetic acid. It's a chelating agent introduced by Nigard Osby. Recommended 17% EDTA for 1 minute. You can remember EDTA is an inorganic solvent. If EDTA used in liquid form as an irrigant, few drops into the chamber with syringe and then carefully pumping the solution into the root canal. And in case of EDTA gel, in case of calcified or blocked canal, instrument coated with EDTA gel can be used to negotiate canal. In case of irrigation, you have to use liquid EDTA, and in case of negotiation of calcified or blocked canal, you have to use EDTA gel. You have to coat the instrument with EDTA gel. And in case of posterior tooth with a narrow canal, you have to use EDTA gel. So how it acts? As I said earlier, EDTA is an inorganic solvent. It chelates with calcium components of the root canal, like dentinal chips and inorganic debris. Chelation removes inorganic component and leaves organic content. Thus, use of other irrigations like sodium hypochlorite became necessary. Now, EDTA advantage. EDTA is effective in softening the dentin. So, loose debris get softened. Removes smear layer. No deleterious effect. What is smear layer? It is a debris of organic or inorganic components 1 to 2 millimeter thick, penetrate dentinal tubules up to 40 micrometer, and it interferes with adaptation of sealer against canal wall. So in case of if you don't remove the smear layer properly, the endodontic treatment will fail. So removing of endodontic layer is very important. Its two part is there, organic, inorganic. That's why we have to use sodium hypochlorite for removal of organic part of smear layer, and you have to use EDT also for removal of inorganic part also. Now, chlorhexidine digluconate. It's a broad spectrum antibiotic, and it is active against common endodontic pathogens, and it is more effective against Enterococcus faecalis. Enterococcus faecalis is one of the bacteria that causes endodontic treatment failure. So it is very important to remove this organism or pathogens. You have to kill the pathogens for a successful root canal treatment. So the use in concentration of 2%. How it acts? The positively charged chlorhexidine molecule is attracted to the negatively charged phospholipids in the cell wall. Chlorhexidine binds to the cell wall, causing it to rupture, and it will cause the leakage of fluid from the bacterial cell, leads to cell death. Mechanism of action is very easy. Chlorhexidine is positively charged. It binds with negatively charged bacterial cell wall and causes lysis. Next is chlorhexidine advantage. This term is very important. Substantivity. This property seen in chlorhexidine gluconate molecules. It gets attached to the dentin of the root canal and release chlorhexidine slowly as the concentration of chlorhexidine decreases in the surrounding environment. After irrigating the canal, chlorhexidine get attached to the dentinal wall and it releases slowly for a long time. So substantivity is one of the most advantageous property for chlorhexidine. Now MTAD, it's a newly introduced irrigant. It is a mixture of tetracycline isomer, citric acid and detergent. If you remember the ideal properties of endodontic irrigants, it should have antimicrobial activity. That's why tetracycline is there. Second, citric acid. It will remove the smear layer or condition the dentinal wall, and surface tension of the debris should be reduced, and it will be done by detergent. So these three components, when mixed together, MTAD forms, and it's a very efficacious endodontic irrigants commonly employed after initial irrigation with 1.3% sodium hypochlorite, effective in killing Enterococcus faecalis. Now, what are the advantages? It is antimicrobial, as I said, biocompatible, removes smear layer by citric acid, does not alter physical properties of dentin. So, regime of irrigations. Now, you have sodium hypochlorite, EDTA, chlorhexidine, and MTAD. How to use? First, you have to use sodium hypochlorite, then you have to give some gap, then EDTA, then you have to give some gap, some minutes, then chlorhexidine or normal saline. Or in case of when you use MTAD, first you have to use NaOCl, then MTAD. Next, interaction between irrigants, sodium hypochlorite and EDTA. EDTA reduces the amount of chlorine when mixed with NaOCl, thus reducing its activity. That's why we use first NaOCl, after that EDTA. Next, NaOCl and chlorhexidine, not soluble in each other, forms brownish orange precipitates. Next, EDTA and chlorhexidine produce white precipitates, reduce the ability of EDTA to remove smear layer. That's why the sequence was made, that first NaOCl, then EDTA, then chlorhexidine. So this regime of irrigation is very important. Then irrigation devices and techniques. Two techniques are there, manual and rotary. Manual techniques, plastic syringe are most commonly used. All syringe for irrigation must have leak lock design. What we used in our day-to-day practice, the syringe all are leak lock designed. That is male part on his female part. There is no leakage of or seepage of fluid from the syringe. Now, types of needles, beveled needles. It gets lodged in canal. There is a risk of forcing irrigants beyond the canal. Second is monojet needle. Longer needle of blunted open end system were inserted to full length canal to ensure optimum cleaning. In day-to-day practice, sometimes we mostly we use bevel needle, but there is many disadvantages of that. It can gets lost into the canal, the risk of forcing irrigants beyond the canal. So the ideal syringe we should use is Max I probe with side vent, closed and side vent. It allows upward flushing action and it prevents pushing irrigant beyond the apex. Now, rotary technique, rattle brass, canal brass. Reset advances, endo activated based on sonic vibrations of plastic tip in canal up to 10,000 rpm. Most effective cleaning compared with syringe and needle. Prevent risk of extrusion of irrigants. Intracanal fluid agitation, and the drawback is it is expensive. You can see the activator tips, different diameters, small, medium and large. They are used for different diameters of root canal. In ultrasonically activated files, oscillation at 25 to 30 kHz in a transverse vibrations, acoustic streaming effect. Two types of ultrasonic irrigation are there, active and passive. Now, laser. All lasers have bactericidal effect at high power. The lasers we use for disinfecting root canal commonly NAD-YAG, argon CO2, ER YAG. The main difficulty for using laser is the access to a small canal with a large probe. It is difficult to access to a small canal with a large probe, and it's expense. Now ENDOVAC system, it's a new irrigation system, and we can achieve true apical negative pressure with this irrigation system. Some parts of ENDOVAC: one is master deliverative, endodontic irrigants delivered through this tip. This is micro cannula. It creates vacuum pressure inside root canal and it removes the irrigating solution along with the debris. Now this is the micro cannula, and micro cannula creates vacuum pressure, and through this, for this vacuum pressure, the endodontic irrigants along with the debris gets removed by this micro cannula. A photoactivated disinfection, PAD. It employs non-toxic dye, photosensitizer, visible light. Photosensitizer molecules attach to the bacterial cell. Irradiation with light at a specific wavelength leads to production of singlet oxygen, and this singlet oxygen causes bacterial cell wall rupture, killing the bacteria. After canal preparation, canal inoculated with PA solution, left for 60 seconds. Next, irradiation for 30 seconds in each canal. Advantage: strong reduction in number of viable endodontic pathogens. It's a less toxic, kills high population of bacteria. And in conclusion, irrigation has a key role in successful treatment. Although hypochlorite is the most important irrigating solution, no single irrigant accomplishes all the tasks required by irrigation. Recent advances in root canal disinfection using new technology and on the basis of recent studies may improve the ability to disinfect the root canal system. However, conventional methods are still helpful for obtaining good prognosis. Thank you very much for patience listening. Thank you.